What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Thursday to all. Happy Friday to all. I'm thinking it's already Thursday. Happy Friday to all. Thank God we're already at Friday. And of course, last night the Philadelphia Phillies got themselves a nice 5-4 victory. And this is the game recap, a shortened one, as everyone can anticipate after the way last night ended with a rain delay. We would have another YouTube, cell phone, iPhone version of Phillies game recap. So welcome all. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Of course, I'm your boy El Parcero Philly, and this game on Thursday night was highly anticipated. The Phillies coming back home after a very solid road trip in Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Come home and you get Noah Syndergaard debut, you get a Brandon Marsh debut, you get some big news, a big release earlier on in the day. So there was a little bit of a buzz down in the ballpark on Thursday night here for the Phillies. Of course, Syndergaard got the start here for the Phils, and he was really one of the main storylines here for the Philadelphia Phillies. But of course, this game, we got a little bit lucky because we had a rain delay, and after 5 innings, and after what was about like a 2-hour delay, they decided to call it off and just end the game there, and the Phillies were awarded the victory. But guys, a quick reminder that tonight, this barring any other rain delays, any other weather inclements, we will be having Phillies game recap live again, so we'll be able to discuss it all together. But we'll bring it to you like this today. So let's talk real quick a little bit of the recap of kind of what went down on Thursday night. This game started off. Obviously, we're all looking at Noah Syndergaard, and thank God that the defense would be up first. We were able to see Syndergaard on the mound. Syndergaard started the day with a double from Victor Robles. Great double to start it off. And then, of course, you had Luke Voigt with one out, two batters later, get in the fly ball to left field that was able to bring in Victor Robles. And right off the bat, not the best type of start here for Noah Syndergaard as he allows one run here for the Washington Nationals, and then we were able to get out of it. Well, the Phillies did a great job of responding in the bottom of the first inning as Rhys Hoskins hit his 21st home run, ladies and gentlemen, this year to tie up the game 1-1. And in the second inning, the Nats were really relentless here in this game, and they were really feasting on this matchup here against the Washington Nationals in the top of the second inning after Maikel Franco does a great job of stealing the bases, and I cannot believe that Maikel Franco was able to steal bases against us. I'll tell you what, I'll be honest. You guys know me. I don't like to criticize anyone's weight, but you can definitely tell that Maikel Franco has put on some weight over the years, and this mother effer looks like a DH, not a third baseman. He steals first to second, and he starts getting all big, feeling like he's the big man, feeling like he's Juan Pierre or something, and JT Realmuto with an uncharacteristic throw to second base. He overthrew Bryson Stott at second. Maikel Franco stands on second base, starts grabbing his belt buckle that his pants can barely even fit around his goddamn waist, and he's flexing over here, and you got Bryce Harper in the booth, which we'll get to a little bit later, but I'm waiting for him to say something about Maikel Franco, because I'll be quite honest with you guys, something rubs me the wrong way about Maikel Franco, and every time he plays the Philadelphia Phillies since he's left, obviously we saw him against Baltimore as well, he gets a little bit of a infuriating complexion towards him, like he's just like he got some vengeance or some sort of vendetta, I should say, towards the Philadelphia Phillies that doesn't make sense to me. I would love to hear the inside stories about Maikel Franco, but enough about Maikel Franco. But that steal was able to help the Nationals kind of move forward, because up next you had Cesar Hernandez, who would hit a single to center field. And Maikel Franco, with some solid running, he may be a little bit chubby, but that man can move. And he was able to get from second to home plate, and the Nats were able to go up 2-1 early on in this game. In the bottom of the third, really, the Phillies were able to steal this game in this inning. It starts off with Brandon Marsh in his first at-bat here for the Philadelphia Phillies. He gets a fly ball to left field. Next up, you got Kyle Schwarber, top of the lineup. He gets a nice little chopping hit to, it was like right center field. That was able, Brandon Marsh with some great base running, ladies and gentlemen, from first all the way to third. He demonstrated his great base running. He demonstrated some of the speed that he had. That's kind of what we were advertised as he was coming over from LA. And this inning really was started off by Brandon Marsh. That was a great job by him and a great debut by Brandon Marsh. Rhys Hoskins, after that, was able to get a single that would bring in Brandon Marsh, and the game would be tied up 2-2. Alec Bohm comes up next after a mound visit for Paulo Espino, and Alec Bohm rips his 8th home run, This home run goes to left field. This brings in three batters in total. You got Alec Bohm trying to overrun Rhys Hoskins in front of him, and you really saw Alec Bohm really just turn a new leaf. He was a different person after that. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But that brought in 3 runs. That was a 5-2 game. And then right before our little rain delay, in the top of the fifth, Noah Syndergaard started to have the wheels falling off a little bit as he starts the inning with 3 straight singles that would bring in Luis Garcia, and that was already a 5-3 ball game. He gets 1 out from a Keibert Ruiz flyout, but then Lane Thomas gets on base with his single. So now you got bases loaded yet again. An absolute terrible wild pitch. Noah Syndergaard literally just throwing this into the goddamn ground, and JT Realmuto, it just literally goes through his 5-hole. We had Luke Voigt was able to score off that wild pitch, and it was a 5-4 baseball game. So for the first time, and I don't know how long, Mother Nature did the Philadelphia Phillies a favor. You started seeing lightning. I'm sure you guys saw the clips on Twitter from NBC Sports Philadelphia. The lightning just coming right before. It looked like it was coming from the Casino Live right outside Citizens Bank Park. But thunder came. The umps called it. We had a little bit of a rain delay, and after what was like 2 hours, I think around 11:15, I got the notification, or 11:05, was sometime in that range. Got the notification. It was a rain delay. It was called off. The game would end early after 5 innings, and the Phillies got. I'll say this. I think they definitely got lucky because if you saw how the way the game was going, the Nats were starting to build some momentum. But who knows? Obviously, this bullpen is not the same bullpen that we've all been accustomed to seeing. So maybe they would have been able to do their job. But luckily, the game was ended where it did, and we did not need to see 4 more innings of Phillies and Nationals, to be quite honest with one another. But we got lucky, and the game was over. And that kind of leads to my first point here. And I wanted to start off by talking about Noah Syndergaard. Like I mentioned, he got lucky here because it really was starting to get ugly there for him. That inning, I mean, in total, the Nats were able to score 4 runs in this entire game. They put up 11. They had 11 hits off of those 4 runs. So Noah Syndergaard got hit a little bit. In 5 innings, he allowed 11 hits, 4 earned, and he only had 2 strikeouts. Now, here's what we need to remember. What did we discuss going into this trade deadline, or I should say, the day after trade deadline? And we're talking about Noah Syndergaard and reacting to it. Noah Syndergaard is not THOR anymore. Noah Syndergaard is not that 2015, 2018. He's not that type of pitcher anymore. He doesn't have that 102 mile per hour fastball. He's not a power pitcher. These days, he's more of a crafty type of dude. That Tommy John that happened in 2020 is still a little bit fresh. And I'll say a couple things. I think that a lot of people are already writing off Noah Syndergaard. I do think for right now, he's perfect for what you need. Like I mentioned, Kyle Gibson, the way he's been pitching this year, there are times where he's looked like he's the clear-cut number 3. Ranger Suarez seems like he's starting to heat up as well as these summer months go by. And so Noah Syndergaard is now in a position where there's no pressure on him. Like, if he is the 5th starter, I think that's fine. You have a solidified 5th guy, and he's still better than Bailey Falter. I do think that with the tutelage of Caleb Gotham and just being in this ballpark and being around guys like Zach Wheeler again, around guys like Aaron Nola, and yes, Kyle Gibson, Ranger Suarez, hoping that things do turn around for him. And look, the Phillies have dealt with pitchers with Tommy John surgery already. I mean, just look at the top of your rotation with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. Both dudes have gone through Tommy John surgery, and you see how their careers have turned out. They have been really solid. So I think that there's always that growing pains, and there's always that stretch after Tommy John where it's you got to get accustomed to it. Like we said, Noah Syndergaard is no longer a power type pitcher. He's a crafty guy. He's throwing a lot of sinkers, a lot of sliders. And once he gets comfortable with that, maybe the power will be coming back. I mean, right now he's averaging a 93 mile per hour fastball. I mean, obviously you guys can tell that's not really going to get done in the major league. So I'm going to say hold off on further judgment. I think for right now he fits, but I think that there is still some more that the Phillies could get out of Noah Syndergaard, and we're going to wait and see what that entails here for the Philadelphia Phillies. But so far, I'll take that first start. Plus, we need to remember it's been 9 days since he last pitched here for in general. And so I think since July 12th, he's had 2 starts, if I read that correctly. So obviously, this man needs to get into a rhythm and get into a routine, and especially for a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, that is very important for these guys. So I think Syndergaard will be be okay. I cannot wait to see more of Noah Syndergaard. Obviously, the Angels just did not know how to handle prospects, handle pitchers like Noah Syndergaard coming off of injury, who had a lot of potential before. We all saw that how that kind of happened. And of course, we also saw the debut of Brandon Marsh, who was a top prospect here for the Los Angeles Angels, and now he's a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. And in his first game, I thought it was pretty solid. I think defensively, he didn't really have to do too much. I think he was able to get one out. In the first, what was it? The Luke Voit hit? That was just a nice hit by Luke Voit, but obviously Brandon Marsh was not able to get to that one. But I really think the takeaway was the bottom of the fifth inning, or bottom of the third inning. I'm sorry, losing track here. Bottom of the third inning, you get the leadoff hit by Brandon Marsh, and then you see the great base running from the Kyle Schwarber hit after that, runs from first to third. And so you're seeing a little bit of what you're trying to get. And again, hopefully in a new spot, working with Kevin Long and having bats like Bryce Harper. Now, look, he had Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout in LA, but now you got more depth here. You got more guys with experience, more guys who are ready to hit the cover off the ball. Bryce is obviously, not here yet, but he's still hanging around in the dugout and hanging around the guys. You got Kyle Schwarber, you got Nick Castellanos, you got Rhys Hoskins, JT Realmuto. So I think that that's going to be beneficial for Brandon Marsh. And so far, I like what I saw. And if he can continue giving us more of that base running, I think that would be great. Could he be a leadoff guy? Who knows? I'm not saying that right now, but that's definitely something that we could be looking at because I love that base running. And if he can find a way to get on base consistently, that could be your backup leadoff guy that we've been talking about and alluding to for a while now. Alec Bohm was fantastic here in this game, and it was on both sides. It was with the bat. It was with the glove. He was definitely flexing and showing off that leather. Today he was 1 for 2. Obviously, he had the play that really solidified the win here for the Phillies. It was a great great form. He's definitely changed up his batting form a little bit. When you're that tall, you definitely have power, and I think he's starting to find that out. Bryce Harper, which we'll get to in a second, but he kind of related to Jason Worth. Obviously, lanky guys in the outfield. Well, Alec Bohm's in third base, but lanky guys playing the field and playing with Bryce Harper, and just the comparisons that he had to Jason Worth, and it got me a little excited because I know a lot of times, like here now, the stigma around Jason Worth is not positive because of his comments when he was a member of the Nationals, but I think that that's a good ceiling, and Alec Bohm, it continues hitting like this, man. This lineup continues to be as dangerous as advertised, and I thought that he was really solid on both offensive and defensively, and as well, we had the return of Jean Segura. That was part of the intrigue and part of the excitement here today. Definitely struggled a little bit on the field, and that's just being rusty, haven't been playing in a while. But overall, I think he'll be fine. Get into the rhythm of it. I like that he's batting 7th right now. Not a lot of pressure there. Once he could slowly start getting comfortable, he's got about a month. I think in a month he'll find his form again. And I think that that's a solid spot to put Jean Segura, but it was definitely good to him. But of course, with the Jean Segura return, that meant that someone had to leave this ball team, and the Phillies decided that it was time to part ways with Didi Gregorius. We heard that news earlier in the day, and it caught us all. I think it caught most of us by surprise. For myself, I wasn't really too surprised simply because the writing was on the wall. When we had the Edmundo Sosa trade, to me, it was like, okay, so we're looking to move one of these infielders, and once the deadline date came and went, none of them left. Johan Camargo and Didi Gregorius were still in Philadelphia. And so right around the corner was Jean Segura coming back, and obviously Jean Segura comes back. Someone had to leave, and that was Didi Gregorius. And the Phillies cut him. That was the surprising part. Now, for myself, I think that this was a move that obviously was going to happen, but I think that it showed some growth organizationally from the Phillies, understanding that, look, you're not always going to be perfect. They made a mistake of re-signing Didi Gregorius. Obviously, he was clearly on the tail end of his career, and right now the problem hasn't been the glove because the glove is still there, and I think that he's still going to find a club in baseball, AL or NL, because that glove is still really good. The bat has definitely fallen off. The power is no longer there, and that's part of the reason why the Phillies were able to part ways with him. Bryson Stott has definitely improved upon, and they want to invest in Bryson Stott, something that they haven't really done with Mickey Moniak. And if you guys heard Mickey Moniak's comments, that was very, very interesting. And it's very ironic that Mickey Moniak also hit a home run in his debut with the Angels, but I digress. Best of luck to Mickey Moniak. But with the emergence of Bryson Stott, writing was on the wall for Didi Gregorius, and the Phillies made a move that I feel was the right move. You had to move on with Didi Gregorius. Money-wise, he was not going to come back next year. And so it was about time for them to start now. And you got some depth. You obviously have Gene and Bryson Stott. Johan Camargo's still in Lehigh Valley. He's still lingering around. Edmundo Sosa is here as well. Yairo Munoz has also emerged as a guy that they can also rely upon as an infielder as well. So I think that was a great move here for Didi Gregorius. And that tells Bryson Stott, like, look, we trust you. We're putting our faith in you. It's time for you to produce. Let's get this going, baby. And obviously, Bryson Stott has been playing really well so far this year, and he's going to figure it out. Last point I want to talk about, Bryce Harper was in the booth. You guys heard me allude to it a couple times. I thought it was fantastic. I think that Bryce Harper has a future in the booth. He gave you some great insights, some great stories. He very carries himself well. And by the way, the drip in the booth, beautiful. I couldn't depict it perfectly. The nice lighter brown suit with the undershirt, the white button-up shirt, top button, up to the top button, looking fresh, looking fly. Great watch, Bryce Harper, beautiful. I love it. But you heard the story of him and Strickland when Bryce was part of the Washington Nationals and Strickland was on the Giants. The infamous a brawl over in what's Oracle Park now in San Francisco, but I thought it was really good. And just hearing Bryce after a while since the injury, I thought was definitely great as well. I really think that Bryce has a good story, and just hearing like Kruk, a legend, a Phillies legend, a favorite from the '90s and Bryce Harper now a favorite in the '20s, the 2020s. I thought it was a great generational appreciation for both, and Bryce Harper, his appreciation for baseball history was very refreshing to hear again. I would love to see it again. I would love to see Bryce Harper back in the booth. Obviously, he's got some time here. He's still rehabbing. The goal is for him to come back by September, so we'll see. And that's obviously was the news before the game. Bryce Harper returned in sometime in September, and that was part of the reason why he was in the booth. But the NBC Sports Philly ran with it, and he was there throughout the whole game. So it was a lot of fun. So hopefully today we get a full game. Weather looks like it's going to hold up. It's nice and sunny here so far in the Delaware Valley, but we'll see what happens. But it should be a fun one on Kyle Gibson Day. We got Gibby here on the mound here today. But guys, thank you so much for watching Phillies game recap, the little shortened version. We'll be back live here tonight, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'm at Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys, let's go Phils. Talk to you guys soon.